My entitled boyfriend went ballistic when he found out I had thousands saved for a trip with my perfect dad. He demanded I pay off his debt for his house instead because he's broke. I recently got in a fight with my boyfriend, 30M, and his family because I refused to spend my savings on a house payment that could result in him getting kicked out of the house. I've dealt with mental health problems my entire life, but things took a turn for the worst when I turned 20. Before, I didn't have many responsibilities and I was just barely getting by with that. But now I had to work while studying in college and it was such a challenge. I couldn't do it no matter how hard I tried. My parents and I have always had a close relationship, so I confided with them about that and they were super supportive of me. They let me live with them and my dad even paid for my psychologist, medicines, all my college education and maintained me until I was 24, all while also taking care of my mom and my 3 younger siblings. I really admire my dad for how hardworking he is. He's had to make so many sacrifices, such as quitting things he enjoys and loves to give me and my siblings the best he can. He's the best and I love him to death. So now that I'm 24 and tackled my problems head on, I got a stable job that pays really well and I've been saving money for the past 5 years because I wanted to do something special for my dad as a thank you for all the sacrifices he has done for me. His dream has always been to go to Disney World, but we don't live in the USA, so we've never had enough money to travel outside of the country and stay in a fancy hotel. He is now retired but still never went and thought he would never be able to. So all the money I've been saving up is to make this happen. The only one that knew about my savings was my mom and she loved the idea. As for my boyfriend, we've been dating for nearly 2 years and he has a good job, but he isn't the best at saving his money. He bought his house before we met and he is still paying for it. Due to his poor management of money, he started accumulating a debt in the house payments. It's gotten so bad that there is a chance of him losing his house if he doesn't pay the debt. I was really worried for him, but there really wasn't much I could do. All of my savings were being used to fund this trip. Well, last week I finally reached my goal and had enough money to take my dad to his dream trip, just the 2 of us. My mistake was telling my boyfriend about how excited I was to finally be able to do this. He immediately killed my mood because he yelled that I was so selfish and how could I go on a stupid vacation trip when he is about to get kicked out of his house. I was so hurt because he knew why I was doing this and he just shat all over it. He also told me that if we were in for the long run, I should help him to get out of his debt because that could eventually be my house too. He said I betrayed his trust because I've been hiding my savings from him and a good partner does not do that. I made sure to let him know that it was not my responsibility to pay for his debt, but he kept yelling at me, so I left. He went and told his mom and sister about it, so now both of them have been harassing me. They came to my apartment and worked to tell me how horrible I am for not helping him and trying to convince me to pay his debt. I get that my boyfriend is going through a hard time, but this is something I've been working really hard to achieve. I don't think I should be burdened with this. Plus, my dad is starting to have difficulties walking, his eyesight and health are getting worse, so it's now or never. A week later, my boyfriend reached out to talk. I was very hesitant because he was being mean last time. After some thought, I went and he actually apologized. He told me that he never intended to come off that aggressive, he was just very stressed with his situation and took it on me. He also talked to her mother and sister to stop harassing me. He had vented to them because he was angry, but he never told them to do anything. I kind of believe that because his family has always been a bit too much. He recognized that it was not okay for him to expect money from me, but he did want to be with me and he even started talking about living together. I told him I understood that he was stressed. I also apologized for being insensitive and talking about spending all that money on a trip when I knew he was struggling. That was totally on me and I did feel bad for that. But I told him that he had no right at being mad at me for keeping my savings a secret when he hasn't been transparent with his finances either. I didn't even know how much his debt was until that day because he never wanted to talk about it with me. I made it clear that I didn't want to be in a relationship with someone that reacts that way about something I care so much about and accused me of being selfish. So I broke up with him, saying maybe we needed some time apart, and he was not happy about that. He called me a lot of derogatory language, accused me of getting my money through PR-stitution and STR-ping, and almost hit me. It was a very nasty breakup and I'm glad I saw his true colors before we made any serious moves. As for my dad, I have already started to book things for the trip and I'll give him the news on his birthday.